Hello, welcome back to our DirectX engine tutorial. We can continue where we left off last time. I figured out the reason why in my last video this wasn't working, and it's because we haven't initialized DirectX, of course. So that's on my part, that's bad. But it is working. I set to initialize DirectX, and once that is initialized, it should be working. But anyway, another thing that I would like to make clear is that if you're using Visual Studio 2012, DirectX is already part of that SDK already. It's part of the Windows SDK already if you're using Visual Studio 2012. I forgot to mention that in the last video, but there's things that it doesn't have. So since it doesn't, because of that reason why it doesn't have it, you will have to also download the DirectX toolkit to make things make life much easier for you. I guess I could say. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it too much, but I decided not to use it because I know some of you guys may not have Visual Studio 2012 or whatever. So I decided to use the DirectX SDK instead. I will update the DirectX to use this in the future. Once I'm done with all the tutorials, I will come back and update the engine to use this DirectX toolkit. But for now, for those people who don't have Visual Studio 2012, I'm gonna make it easy for you guys, and you guys don't even have to do that. Another reason why I also don't want to use this at the moment is because I know a lot of you guys gonna have a lot of issues when importing this project into your project. So I don't want to deal with that at the moment. I just want to have DirectX initialized already and set up for you guys. And for those of you guys who want to use this DirectX toolkit, then I'll update. Oops, you don't want to see my kitty cat. And for those of you guys who want to use this, then I'll make a different video in the future. So I just wanted to put that up in the air so all you guys will be bashing on me saying, oh, you got DirectX is already initialized, blah blah blah. And because of that reason, if you're going to use Windows SDK, Visual Studio 2012 is going to give you issues, not issues, but a lot of warnings because saying that things already are defined, so you get this redefinition warnings. So yeah, I'll tell you how to, I guess, disable those warnings so you don't have to see them. But once you get there, then I'll tell you guys. All right. Another thing I didn't mention, or I didn't show you guys, is the final thing that we can have, like how it's gonna look like, whatever. So I'll show it to you guys. As I didn't mention it. So this is where you can have the same thing as in the DirectX 9 tutorial. We have a Mario sprite. It's gonna be moving around. It's gonna animate as well. So this basically is gonna be the final thing that I'm be doing for you guys. So this is what it's gonna look like. So yeah, there we go. So let's continue, guys. Let's continue before. I don't want to make this video a lot longer than it should be. So, all right. So what you want to do? Add a new class. Call it DX Manager. I'm gonna call it DX Manager. And this class is gonna contain a lot of stuff. So, well, I know for sure it's gonna have multiple parts to it, like the same thing for OpenGL. It had multiple different parts, so the same thing is gonna be different. I'm pretty sure this one's gonna be a lot longer because there's a lot more stuff that you had to do. But let's see how it goes. In every section that I finish, I'm gonna look it up and see what's the time, and if it's taking too much, taking too long, then I'll change it to the next video. That's how I'm gonna do this. Otherwise, this is gonna be a super 2-hour long section for this class. All right. So what are we gonna need for this class? We're gonna have some includes. Number include. You can include the dxgi.h. Number include d3d common, if you actually spell it correctly. Include D311 and include. Actually, I don't even know. I don't think you can need that, since if you do need it, I'll add it afterwards. Okay. So inside the class, there's a lot of stuff that's gonna happen in here. You're gonna have bool initialize. You're gonna pass in a screen width, a screen height, bool bsync, h2d. You want to get the handle, or is that the handle? I believe. I don't remember. Bool full screen, float. Wait. If we do need those parameters, then I'll add it afterwards. So that's so far what we can need. You can have a void begin scene. You can pass in a float R, float G, float B, and a float A for RGBA, and void end scene. Another function is going to be enable alpha blending. It's called bool enable. Void enables Z buffer. Bool enable. You can have getter functions to get the device. ID 3, D11. That thing's device. Pointer. And you could get device. And also the same thing to get the context. ID 3, D11. Device. Context. Pointer. Get device context. Now for the private functions, there's going to be a lot of functions that separated to different functions, so it could be a lot more readable. So I apologize for all those functions, but this way, at least this way, is more readable and understandable. So it's bool, initialize, swap chain, and you can have parameters for h2d, bool full screen, and screen width. Oh, I can't get the freaking int screen height at unsigned. Did I spell that? No, I did not. Unsigned enumerator. I'll explain that what those are. Unsigned int denominator. Bool initialize depth buffer. And it's gonna pass this screen width and screen height. Bool initialize depth stencil buffer. Bool initialize stencil view. Bool initialize rasterizer state. A void initialize a viewport and screen width and screen height. I'm gonna have a boolean for initialize alpha blending. And bool initialize Z buffer. Now it comes. Like I apologize for all the functions, but I made it that way so you guys can understand it better. It could be more easily readable. So hopefully that's okay for you guys. Now for the member variables, bool bsync enabled int video card memory. Not sure if this is even necessary, but it's good to have if you ever need it. Video card description. Now we can add swap chain, IDEX GI swap chain. It's gonna be a pointer, swap chain. The ID 311 device, pointer device. ID 3D11 device context. We have ID3 D11 render target view and render target view. ID3 D11 texture 2D pointer to the you call that def stencil state. I mean def stencil buffer. No, I apologize. That'll be the buffer. The next one is ID 3D11 def stencil state. Def stencil state. You can do that ID 3D11 def stencil. I misspelled it. Def stencil view. Def stencil view. ID 3D11. The rasterizer state. Raster state. ID 3D11 blend state pointer to alpha enable blending state, and you can create another one for the same thing, but it's going to call disable. And the last parameter is the def stencil state pointer, and this is going to be for disabling the C buffer. That's what we're going to use. So this is what you're going to need, and basically the header file is done now. Alright guys, so what I did right now just basically just called all the functions in the CPV file, so I just have them right away, cut some parts of the video. But anyway, so what you're going to do, we can initialize, well, make sure you want to initialize all the stuff in here. Well, I'm going to pause it so you don't have to see this all the time, so give me a sec. Alright, so basically I did is make sure initializing set it all to 0, the swap chain device, context, target view, stencil buffer, step and stay, stencil view, rasterizer, blah, and etc. Make sure you set them to 0, and also make sure you also release it and set it to 0 in the destructor. And before you do, make sure you do the swap chain first. So if it's full screen, then you can make sure you set it to a window mode. So, alright. So once you have that, we can go to freaking thing. Hold on, give me a second. We can initialize our DX manager. So we can need in here result ID DirectXGI factory pointer, call it factory, IDXGI adapter, pointer, adapter, IDXGI output. I call that, let's make sure it's a pointer, adapter output. Call it, have an unsigned. Why I always misspell unsigned? No modes. That's an I, numerator, denominator, and string length. DXGI. Make sure it's underscore mode. Description. Display mode. I'll explain what all of these are for once we get to them. DXGI adapter description, and that's regular, no pointer to it. Adapter just have it int error, and a final ID3 D11 texture 2D pointer, a back buffer pointer. Okay. Make sure store the vsync settings. You want to create a DirectX graphics interface. Create a DirectX graphic interface factory. So we could say result equals create DXGI factory underscore underscore UI dot. I'm not sure what that is for, to be honest. I'll give you what that means in a bit. Hold on. Pointer and passing factory to fill it up to create the graphic interface for that factory. Okay. Anyways, well, basically what this is, basically it returns the GUID for that IDX factory. It basically is a hexadecimal. It's basically the ID of that factory. It could be a type name or a pointer, a reference, or an array of it. So you don't really need to know that. So, anyways, it failed. Result. It's probably a better way of doing this. I'll fix it later on. Okay, return false if it failed. Otherwise, if it didn't fail, then we want to use that factory that we created on top to create an adapter for the primary graphics interface. So result equals factory enum adapters. We can pass 0 and pass in the adapter to fill it up, and make sure it failed. Result. Make sure you want to return false. No, I need to make sure it returns true here before we forget. Okay, results. basically, before make sure to comment so you know what you guys what we doing. So we want to enumerate the primary adapter app to it, which basically consists of the monitor. So results equals factory. Oh yeah, man, that's not factory, it's adapter. Adapter enum output 0. Then you want to pass in adapter output. Make sure if it failed, results return false like always. Ready? It's probably just being dumb right now. Okay. Once that is done, like it didn't fail, you basically want to get the number of modes that fit the DXGI format R8, G8, B8, and A8 underscore uniform. Unorm, I mean. Display format for the adapter output, which consists of the monitor. So every time I say adapter output, it means the monitor. So you're going to say result equals adapter output. You want to get display mode lists. Keep doing that. I don't want to do that. The DXGI. What did I do? DXGI format is R8, RAGAB8, A underscore unorm. Second parameter will be the DXGI enum modes interlaced. Pass in num nodes to give me a number of nodes that fit in that format. And the last parameter will be null. Make sure it didn't fail. Results. Otherwise, return false. Now we do that. You can loop through. Oh, no, wait, not yet. Why do I keep getting? It fell. Oh, I was like, what the hell's going on there? Okay. I think I used the wrong one, didn't I? Display mode list. Okay. So anyway, I know I'm talking to myself now. we want to create a list to hold all the possible modes for this monitor, which means yours. Monitor video card combination. So display mode list equals new DXGI mode description, and you can pass in num modes. Now we want to fill it up. Fill the display mode list. Results equals adapter output get display mode lists. We basically want to call what I did on top again. Is that this time we're going to call, they were saying the last parameter to equal null. We're going to pass in the display mode list. So now we know how many was this to create this array. Yeah, I don't have to dereference that. And make sure, like always, if failed, result return false. Now that we have the display mode list already like filled up, we want to loop through all of them and find out the ones that fit in with the screen and width and height that we passed into this function. So basically, want to loop through all of the display mode list. Int I equals 0. I is less than num modes plus I. Keep doing that all the time. And say if display mode list I dot width equals unsigned int or screen width. Then we want to do the same thing for the height. Equals unsigned int or screen height. And if it equals that, you want to set the numerator to equal to display mode list I refresh rate dot numerator. This all could be the refresh rate and numerator. Denominator display mode list I refresh rate dot denominator. And once you have that, we set that. You know what we can do is to make sure. No, remove this I. We don't need it. I need this for your reference, so it'll be much easier. Hold on. Oh wait, I don't need to do that. What am I talking about? I think I can just set it here. It's unsigned though. Equals 0. Make it a no, it can't be. I don't know why this keeps telling me. Maybe because I misspelled it. I don't really care right now. You just want to say if numerator equals 0 and denominator equals 0. That means you never found one. And make sure you return false. Otherwise, you want to get the adapter description. Say result equals adapter get description adapter desc. Hold on, there's too many parentheses in here that I don't need. And like always, make sure you failed results return false. Now that we have that, we want to store the video card memory in megabytes. So M video card memory equals int of adapter description dedicated video memory divided by 1024 divided by 1024 to get in megabytes form. And I want to convert the name of the video card to a character array. Say error equals WC as DMBS underscore S. You pass in the string length and video card. Let me spell it. I think I never called that one. Okay. Now I just leave that. We can come back and initialize that in a bit. 128 adapter description. Adapter description. And 128. Hold on, give me a second. Okay. I did. I might have misspelled it then. It's right there. I don't know why I don't get it. Why I didn't get it earlier. Which are unsigned int pointer. Yeah, I dereferenced that. Short pointer, which is what is a short pointer? Int 128. Data code description. So why does it fail? Oh wait, hold on. Did I? What's it? Yeah. Smart. Pretty sure you guys saw that at the beginning and saying, what are you doing? I hope you guys did. I hope you guys saw that at the beginning when I wrote it. I hope so. Anyways, this is just to store the video card memory and the description in case you want to have it. You know, it's not really necessary. Anyways, now that basically we're done creating the adapters, the numerators, and all the graphics interface, so we want to make sure you delete the memory. We'll make sure release memories. Release memory. So delete. Make sure you spell delete correctly because I don't know what that was going on with me. Display mode list. Display mode list equals 0. Make sure your adapter output. This one you have to call release. And adapter output equals 0. Adapter, just regular adapter. Release. Adapter equals 0. And finally, the factory. Release. Factory equals 0. Alright, so that we finally did all the stuff that we needed. Adapter outputs and all that kind of stuff that we need. Give me a second, what's going on? So that's I mean, we still have a long way. I mean, it's already 35-minute video, so I'm gonna end it here for this part. So basically, what we did is initialize all the stuff that we needed for the graphic interface for the factory to determine the monitor that we have in the video card and get the refresh rate, the numerator and denominator for it. That we can initialize later. We still haven't used it yet, but we will. Yes. So I'll end it here. Like I said, this could be a super long function, which I separated to smaller functions, so it'll be easier for you guys to read. But But I'll end it here. Like I said, you have all of this stuff that we had to initialize. So I'll end it here, and I hope you guys like this tutorial. This part of this tutorial. So I hope you guys like it. Thumbs up, and stay tuned for the next video. So I'll see you guys then. Signing out, guys.